Houses on the outskirts of Akbulak micro-district are being demolished again. Officials and police went back to establish order here. Human rights activists claim that land and construction documents were taken away by force from local residents, their houses demolished, and people themselves simply thrown out to the streets.
After the police came to the scene, the Mamraev's family had barely enough time to leave their trailer before it was demolished by an excavator. The 4 adults and the newborn were taken to the police station and released several hours later, although now the family has nowhere to go. The homeless family was temporarily sheltered by their neighbors. One of the sisters says that the police began the demolition when Mamraevs refused to return their land ownership documents. These papers were already seized once before by law enforcement agents, who never returned them back. Žildas Mamraeva claims that it is easy to explain the officials' close attention. There were rumors that the city administration wants to divide this land. This is why we decided to build something here and live for some time. Public defenders say that everyone who has registered their land ownership rights in Akbulak micro-district of Almaty is given less land than is set by the state. Protesters have gathered near the building of the city administration, saying that the mayor of Almaty, Ahmedjan Isimov, can resolve the situation. There is an assumption that the rest of the land will be sold to someone, as such precedent already exists in Shanarak 1. Do you understand that someone else's property is being illegally given away? At the same time, the deputy mayor of Almaty, Serikh Seydumanov, assured that this is a provocation and the rally organizers have to be arrested. He is confident that the protesters already have housing within the city.
All this is staged. What should we do? Look, we're being erased. Everything is fine. This is just a provocation.
The activists waited in front of the city administration for several hours, but were still not allowed to meet with the authorities. Meanwhile, the administration staff claims that a main will be constructed over the area in question, thus no one could have issued people legal land documents.
This situation becomes more serious considering the severe colds outside. The weather already impacted the situation with the shortage of medicine in Kazakhstan. Some regions of the country have enough reserves for only a week. The healthcare minister Jakshilik Doskaliyev says that it is possible suppliers will attempt to take advantage of the situation and will once again raise their prices.
The minus 30 degrees cold outside led to some heated debates among the cabinet members. Namely, healthcare minister Jakshilik Doskaliyev had to break a sweat when Mangistau governor complained to the prime minister about the medicine shortage. The region's supply will be enough only for another month, but the demand is growing. The chief physician of the country recognizes the situation is complicated and attributes it to the severe colds.
The nature has introduced its adjustments. The number of colds, pulmonary diseases, injuries and cases of frostbites is growing.
The minister promised to take control over the situation. At the same time, he issues warnings to the pharmaceutical companies. They, he says, are taking advantage of the situation. In some regions, the prices of medicine are rising again. This is a pharmaceutical déjà vu. A year ago, after the February tenge devaluation, a price fever took over the country. The government urgently wrote a prescription forcing the suppliers to stabilize prices. But even the signed memorandum did not help back then. In some pharmacies, they even directly noted the price tags, the growth of 15, 20 and 30%. Later, the healthcare minister determined the diagnosis as an imported infection. More than 90% of medicaments are imported to Kazakhstan. This year, the government prescribed a new sedative against the impending rising prices outbreak. It promises to build 5 factories in the country which would at least partially lift the pharmaceutical dependence on imports.
Meanwhile, cold weather is becoming worse. About 1,500 residents of village Solnichny in East Kazakhstan continue to freeze in their homes. 1 month has already passed since a major accident happened here when the boiler broke and the heating main froze over. On Tuesday, Governor Berdebek Saparbayev visited the village with an inspection.
1 month after the emergency in village Solnishny, East Kazakhstan, Governor Berdebek Saparbayev arrived here to learn about the situation. The village prepared thoroughly for the guests' arrival. They patched up leaking pipes and even painted radiators in the village school. The inspection in local homes, schools and kindergartens produced some results, as the governor identified who is to blame for the major accident and its prolonged mitigation. The panel system committee will answer for all troubles of the village. Apparently, it was responsible for the heat supply in Solnishny. Also, the local administration was found responsible for the situation. The governor of East Kazakhstan region promised everyone involved will be punished soon.
The majority of Ukrainians living in Kazakhstan voted for Viktor Yanukovych. The final results are not yet known, but the likely winner is already apparent, as the gap with Yulia Tymoshenko amounted to little more than 3% on Tuesday.
The presidential power in Ukraine is passed from one man to another. At the 38th foreign polling station in Kazakhstan, the majority of voters didn't try to conceal their political preferences. Viktor Yanukovych won the first round and will likely win the second too. Andrei Karamarenko from Krivoy Rog works in Temirtau. He specifically came to Astana to vote for Yanukovych. His program is directed at cooperation with Russia and other countries of the former Soviet Union. The latest data of the Ukraine CEC shows that 99% of the protocols have been already processed. Almost 49% of votes went to Viktor Yanukovych, while Yulia Tymoshenko received a little over 45%. The voting process took place in 76 countries worldwide. According to Valentina Gaidukevich, there were no revolution sentiments among voters in Kazakhstan.
32 Ukrainians residing in Kazakhstan voted here. They all are from totally different areas, including Astana, the capital of Kazakhstan. Also, one came from the East Kazakhstan region and one from Karaganda.
The only Ukrainian newspaper in Central Asia closely followed the elections. According to its editor-in-chief Taras Chernega, it is incredibly difficult to judge the Ukrainian process from Kazakhstan. There is a certain prevailing bias and a view of those who are behind these media which distorts the overall picture as well as the view of the election process. The final results will be announced by February 17th, although the winner is already known. International experts supported the Ukrainian people by a vast majority, recognizing the current elections as transparent and objective.
Political party Ruhaniyat appeals to others to unite efforts in the fight for the environment. This political rebranding, however, turned out to be merely an announcement of the party's new priorities.
Political party Ruhaniyat, together with the public fund Жасылдар Greens KZ, will work on the country's environment as well as electorate souls. The impending transformation of the Green Party was announced on Tuesday at the meeting with journalists. The first step of the long journey has already been taken. The integration with European colleagues is next on the agenda. There are many political parties in Europe that consider the environment a major issue. I believe that we should put ecology as a main issue at this stage of our political work. The ecology of the environment is directly linked with the ecology of the soul. Political scientists do not share the party members' enthusiasm. According to November research of the Political Decision Institute, Ruhaniyat is the political field outsider. They have to break out, and that is why they invent information causes.
These small parties which repeatedly lose elections, they are like political zombies which exist only on paper or elsewhere, but here, their actions are never seen.
According to political scientists, the intensification of political parties' activities is a natural process on the way to the approaching 2012 parliamentary elections. Experts lament for reason that the party-building methods in the country are outdated. Whatever the initiative is proposed, it causes new political corpses to rise at the party scene. It is entirely possible that this time the corpse will be green.
These were all latest updates from Kazakhstan for Tuesday, February the 9th. Thank you for being with us and goodbye.